Tonight, if you are one of the residents in your neighborhood neglecting your property in Atlanta, you'll have to pay up. The city is targeting uninhabitable, unsafe, and abandoned eyesores. Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn reports from City Hall.
Today was the City Council's first session back after their summer recess, and among a handful of noteworthy items passed today, the council approved a blight tax. If your property ends up on the city's list, you could pay up to 25 times your current property tax rate. Councilmember Byron Amos, the resolution sponsored, said they are targeting vacant properties. It's about eliminating eyesores. Amos said the measure, it's an effort to create cleaner, safer neighborhoods.
It's very important. It gives us a tool that we can actually use to begin to get rid of some of these properties that have just been sitting in our community for decades. We're not targeting the grandmother or the person that has fallen on hard times. The property must be uninhabited for us to look at it to go on the blight property list.
The City Council also passed legislation today that will move forward hiring a crime scene cleanup vendor. City Council member Michael Julian Bond said the last vendor, their contract had lapsed for the last year and a half.
And if you have bodily fluids that have been left on the scene, if those are the types of things that would breed infection and disease, potentially if they're left, and could affect people who were not involved at all.
And the city weighing in on one of the most controversial education issues in our state. The Atlanta City Council unanimously passed a resolution urging the state superintendent to fully fund AP African American Studies in every public school district statewide.
If that legacy is important enough that we use it to sell Georgia to the world, it has to be important enough that we teach it to our children.
And in an effort to improve public safety, the council also passed a $30,000 grant to support the Atlanta nonprofit Mothers Against Gang Violence. From inside City Hall, Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.